In the previous lecture, we forecasted PP&E and D&A. Now, our focus will be financial liabilities. To be more precise, our next task is building a financial liabilities schedule. Let's create a copy of the fixed asset roll forward sheet and change its name to Financial Liabilities Schedule. There are a few changes that must be made. Let's delete all numbers first. This ensures we won't use some cells from the previous sheet. We will not need the two gray boxes below the table, so I'll delete them. Let's change the items in the table. The first one will be beginning debt. The second one will be new debt. The third one will read principal repayment. And the total row will show us ending debt. Very well. We know for a fact that no new debt were made in 2015 and 2016. Let's fill in historical values by bearing this in mind. We can link ending debt for 2014, 2015, and 2016 simultaneously. This also gives us beginning debt, given that the ending debt for 2014 was beginning debt for 2015. And the ending debt for 2015 was beginning debt for 2016. Okay? We can even copy the formula for beginning debt for the forecast period. Now we can calculate the amount of principal repayments were made in 2015 and 2016. All we must do is subtract ending and beginning debt for the 2 years. Excellent. During the forecast period, things become more complicated. The company negotiated with its lenders to extinguish its ending debt during the next 10 years. The agreed interest rate that will be paid is 9%. And the firm will repay the debt through constant annual payments. Our forecast period is shorter than 10 years, so we won't see all debt disappear from the balance sheet. Good. We need to calculate the company's annual payment for the next 10 years. Excel makes this easy. We can simply use the PMT function. I'll select the loan rate, the number of periods in which it will be repaid, and the present value of the amount to be repaid. Here's the amount. Let's create a mini table that will help us determine what portion of this amount is for interest expenses and how much the residual debt is that remains after every repayment. We have 10 periods. The 4 rows of the table should be payment, interest expense, debt repayment, and residual debt. We said the agreed loan amortization plan involves constant payment, so the payment will be equal to the same amount in all 10 periods. Interest expenses will be equal to the amount of residual debt at the beginning of the period, multiplied by 9%, which is the agreed interest rate. I'll negate this number by putting a minus in front of the formula. The difference between the amount paid to the lender and the amount due for interest expenses is the amount of principal repayment. And finally, outstanding debt plus repayment, please note we have a negative sign here, gives us residual debt outstanding at the end of the year. The next year, we need to carry out the same calculations. Now, I can copy the formulas for the rest of the years. You can see we've worked correctly, given that the loan is amortized in year 10. Awesome! Let's fill in the table above with the values calculated for principal repayment. Now we can easily link these values with the P&L and balance sheet. Here we've calculated interest expenses, and this allows us to calculate the P&L until EBT. And then outstanding debt we have can be linked with the output balance sheet. The balance sheet is almost complete. In our next lesson, we'll build an equity schedule. Stay tuned. We've done an excellent job so far.